Welcome back. It is board number 2, and it is the Bullet Stephen Bunting, who's been in fabulous form this year, but still looking for that really, really big PDC win that he craves. Mickey Mansell will try to be a thorn in his side as he tries to stop the Bullet from making round 2 here in Minehead. But coming into this one, it can't be ignored that Stephen is playing arguably the darts of his PDC life, which is almost now 10 years. Think about when he won Lakeside. It was 2014. What did he do straight after? He came to the PDC and started winning straight after that. So almost 10 years on from joining this circuit, he's still as hungry as ever, if not hungrier than ever before. And with his new heavy darts, being all 18 grams of them, it'll be interesting to see what he can do against an opponent that will keep him on the hockey probably a little bit longer than some others.
Yeah, Stephen Bunting was announced to the stage by MC Dave Goodings as a former Lakeside world champion, but as Paul Nicholson has just alluded to, he's had very, very good recent runs at the Grand Slam of Darts.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. First leg, it's Mickey to throw first. Game on.
And multiple big runs in Pro Tour events this year as well. The Grand Slam, he made it all the way through to the semi-finals, and it was a good game against Rob Cross as well. Went 29 legs.
140.
Fair to say that in less than a week between that game and this one, he'll be feeling
100.
very sharp in the arm department, that's for sure. Not a great deal of practice needed between Wolverhampton and Minehead, but my biggest point coming into this tournament for Stephen is about the output season long. The last few
100.
years, you're talking about a player who's running at around 94, 95. That's where he's been at, and he's been causing a lot of problems for players, playing some good stuff. But going to these
140.
heavier darts, more recently, on top of playing well at the start of the year, he's now in the 96 range. At this level, if you're finding 1% more, you're going far.
140.
And he's starting to do more.
Yeah, and he's already achieved plenty in the PDC. You know, only one player can win any tournament, but he has got
105.
3 PDC ranking titles to his name, and has had good runs, particularly at the World Championship. Quarterfinals last year, semi-finals 3 years ago.
81. Stephen, you require 156.
I've already tipped him to have a really big run at Alexandra Palace. I just get the feeling that he loves that tournament. He's been to the semis there before.
Well, the first leg could be going against the Bullet here, but he puts himself on the shoulder of Mansell just in case the Northern Irishman cannot land tops.
Game shot on the first leg. Mickey Mansell.
Tops is hit.
Second leg, it's Stephen to throw first. Game on.
That's what Mickey's game is all about. Leaving tops and tens. We do say that about quite a few left-handers. But as far as this year is concerned for Mickey,
59.
just outside the top 50 in the averages, 92.35 for the Players' Championship season. But things were looking a bit ropey towards the end of the year. He wasn't looking like qualifying for this tournament until
60.
Players' Championship 28. When he made the semi-finals, he did not put up a great deal of resistance to Damon Heta in the Final Four, but making £4,000 that day, that was key
94.
to him making this tournament. Just so happened that the final Players' Championship event of the year, he made the last 16. And that just solidified his ranking position, which gave him this game
140.
against Bunting.
Well, just to bring you up to date with the main stage, Rob Cross, who I mentioned, had that semi-final showdown at the Slam with Stephen Bunting. He is through here at the Players' Championship Finals. A 6-3 success for Voltage against Cameron Menzies, and now Josh Rock is on stage against Roby John Rodriguez.
In the old format of this
83.
tournament, had you been 16th seed, you would have played number 17 in round number 2. So as it stands these days, because the format is very similar, although we have twice as many players, the number 16 seed can still play the number 17 seed in round 2. And it just so happens that if Bunting was to win here, he'd play Van Veen in round 2, which is very, very tasty. But Mansell could upset that apple cart if he plays well here.
What a dart, what a start. Not to be for Bunting, but he again leaves himself perfectly poised.
A baby fish set up for Bunting. 54 in bull for Mansell to double his lead.
Not on this occasion, so
39.
the Merseyside man returns looking at double 20.
Double 10.
30.
Uncharacteristic misses from Stephen.
Mickey require 85.
And when you're seeing him miss those, you've got to take full advantage of what you've got. And this is very gettable for Mickey.
Oh, he's missed a big number. That's criminal.
That's the exact word I was thinking about when he missed that 20. That is criminal.
31.
If you're going to go deep in a tournament like this, you can't do that.
Can Bunting punish? Double 5 is eyed by the bullets. The radar is off at the moment for Stephen. Double 2. Yes, sneaks in the corner. All square. It wasn't a pretty one, but he'll take it.
Was it to say, don't put baby in the corner? Baby Bunting in the corner? Well, he doesn't mind the double 2 was in the corner.
Mansell just starting to lose his line a little bit. We saw the missed big number on the finish. We saw a missed segment there with his opening gambit in the following leg. Chance for Stephen Bunting to pressurise the Mickey Mansell throw. And he does so with a 2-treble turn.
I see Rob Cross got the job done against Cameron Menzies after it being tied at 3-3. Rob Cross got the job done by 6 legs to 3. Josh Rock is now playing against Rowie John Rodriguez on the main stage.
45.
He will start that game as a heavy favourite, just like Stephen did in this one. But same results, 1-1 in the early stages. It's been a fairly quiet atmosphere here at Reds Bar this afternoon. As for later on tonight,
93.
I'm not really sure about that. I think it might be a bit louder.
Yeah, we've just had confirmation, by the way, that Johnny Clayton versus Stephen Burton is moved to the main stage. So we've got 2 more matches to follow this. Gabriel Clements versus Connor Scutt. And Dimitri Vandenberg against Jim Williams. But do join us tonight from 7. Jose de Sosa is going to open the party against Kevin Dutz. And then we've got Christopher Teichke against Mike Kyvenhoven. If you can spell it without looking, well done. Brendan Dolan versus Richie Edhouse. Andrew Gilding up against Steve Lennon. Then Daryl Gurney, a former winner of this event, faces Neil Zonneveld. Kim Huybrechts, a Hurricane, meets Martin Schindler. Dirk van Dijvenbode dukes it out against fellow Dutchman Jermaine Wattermainer. Joe Cullen against Jamie Hughes. And then possibly Dave Chisnell against Lee Evans to bring the curtain down on Friday's action.
By the way, were you asking about Kyvenhoven or Christoph?
Both, the whole fixture.
Well, I'm going to check with Bully. I'm going to check with Bunting first, though. That's wonderful from Stephen. A little catalyst there just to get his game going, because it has been quite lethargic up until then. That 1-3-4 out, probably the best finish you've seen here on this stage this afternoon.
Just thinking about the fact that Stephen Bunting had that great run at the Grand Slam, and then his next match is on stage 2 in Minehead. Is it a bit of a come down in a way?
I'm not really sure he cares. I think some of these players, if they show that they're upset by which stage they play on, it says more about them than it does the promoter or the organiser. I was always someone, and the majority of players that I used to hang around with would say, we're not bothered. Just put us on a stage. We're just glad to be here.
Have you ever known any to be offended?
Yeah, plenty. says more about them than it does anything else. It's an ego thing. There are times, for instance, when we had Danny Noppert here at the UK Open this year as the defending champion, and he started his challenge on stage 2. That's perfectly fine. It just goes to show that we can then commentate on what would be a great player. Think about this tournament last year. We were sitting here in Minehead, and we had the greatest game of the tournament. We had Dirk van Dijvenbode and Ryan Searle, and it was excellent. The main stage's loss was our game.
45. Stephen, you require.
But it looks like Mickey Mansell's loss here might be Stephen Bunting's gain, because Bunting has started to fire his bullets and Mansell seems to have run out. Nothing in the cylinder.
139.
Just in really good nick, isn't he? Bunting looks really good with these new darts. He's probably thinking to himself, why on earth didn't I change these earlier?
Yeah, it's a 50% increase in weight for Stephen Bunting. Still some of the lightest darts on tour are 18 grams, but he was throwing 12-gram darts before.
7-7. Might split this. Decides to do so. A very good plan. 3-1 Bunting. All of a sudden, things are very comfortable for Stephen. But that must have been an interesting conversation when he went to his darts manufacturer. Hi, Stephen. What would you like today? Well, actually, I want to put 50% weight on my darts. Imagine if Ryan Searle did that. If he did, he'd have 51-gram darts.
Well, if they were able to put 50% of the price on, they'll be very happy. But he is looking very comfortable with these darts here. The heavier metal from Stephen Bunting. I don't think he'll be as comfortable in the next match should he progress here. Jan van Veen is the opponent, as you alluded to, and it's a really tricky part of the draw he's in, isn't it? With the top seed on that section as well, Gerwin Price. He meets Ricky Evans, Kim Huybrechts against Martin Schindler, also in their mini section. And in the next section, meaning that these are potential quarter-final opponents, just a small matter of Michael van Gerwen.
7-time champion. Yeah, we've only got 2 multiple champions in this tournament. Phil Taylor's got 3, and Michael van Gerwen has 7. This was actually Gary Anderson's first ranked major win in the PDC, and he got his second about 6 weeks later at Alexandra Palace.
Better leg from Mansell here. Down to 1-2-1 on a finish first.
134. Mickey, you require 121.
He's only thrown 9 darts to get there.
He's going to stay up top. What he wants to do is leave tops. Oh, and he's not going to be able to do it. Has he just hit double 1? He has hit double 1. So it's going to have to be 19 double 10 now, or 15 double 12. Silly, silly Mickey.
Mickey required 39.
He's just making it all a bit more awkward than it needs to be. Choices. 19 it is, 4 double 10.
Game shot on the 5th leg.
Got himself in a little bit of a mess, and then he managed to tidy that mess up.
Well, that's one of the weirdest 41 checkouts and 3 darts you'll ever see. Double 1, 19 double 10.
Bunting will not be ruffled, won't be rattled.
Do you think people tend to forget that Stephen was in the Premier League? I think it's easy for people to forget who has been part of the greatest roadshow in darts, and there's already a lot of chatter about who's going to be in it next year. Yeah. But Stephen is someone who could bulldoze that field easily over the next couple of months.
He'll be in the conversation. I know it's a conversation that probably should be delayed having until the latter stages of the World Championship, because that carries so much weight. But as things stand, I think there are probably 7 places occupied, and he would be in the conversation for the 8.
I like how you were really loose with 7. Maybe 7. I haven't even looked at my list yet.
But yeah, also a finalist on the World Series, of course, in Sydney. Lost to Phil Taylor.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Great to have him out there. Very, very popular with the Sydney crowd.
Is there going to be another star on the shirt anytime soon for Stephen Bunting? Is there going to be a big televised glory in PDC darts around the corner? He's certainly knocking on the door.
I'll put it this way, if he goes and wins at Ali Pali, there'll be 2 World Championships 10 years apart. And that doesn't happen to many players. Think about when Jockey Wilson, he went 7 years apart. John Lowe had 6 years apart from 87 to 93, didn't he? John Part was 9 years apart, 94 to 2003.
108 for Bunting here.
And Lowe had 8 years, wasn't it? It was 79 to 87.
Yeah, won in 3 different decades, didn't he? 79, 87, 93.
So listen to us, Stephen. It's doable. You can do it. 10 years apart. That would be something.
60.
Double 4.
Stephen, you require
Managed it a couple of
8.
legs ago. Wants it again to just restore that little bit of a buffer between himself and Mansell here. Well, he's hit double 2 before as well. And he's hit it again for 4-2.
Stephen Bunting.
I know he's 4-2 ahead, but in Stephen's mind, he will think he's playing dreadfully compared to what he's done this season. All you got to do is beat who's in front of you. And in games like this, he's not playing Mickey Mansell, he's playing himself.
125.
He's actually averaging 96.5. It's a decent enough display.
This is what he's done all year, and he's making it look like a terrible 96, if there is such a thing.
99.
Josh Rock's averaging about 94, but he's winning 5-2 against Roby John Rodriguez, who's not really at the races in that one.
Oh, that's a wonderful 180 from Mickey. That's what I like to call a cricket stump 180. There's one for off stump, one for leg stump, and one in the middle. Wonderfully done from one of Northern Ireland's best. And they've got quite a footprint these days in PDC darts, haven't they? With Dolan,
58.
with Rock, with Gurney, with Rafferty. And you get some Dolan later on board too. He's taking on Richie Edhouse. So this house will get a bit mad later.
83.
I am looking forward to Dirk van Duijvenbode against Jermaine Watermina later, but it's easy to get excited about a fixture for the possibilities, but there is a danger that fixture could be a bit scruffy.
Yeah, not sure what to expect. As Bunting bites back here with a maximum. Actually, his first of the match to leave 164. It would be some clean-up if he were to win this leg. And he's going to get a go at the 164.
49.
Would be 3-4-4 in 6.
Stephen, you require 164.
One of the hardest 6-star conversions possible in this format. 2 treble 19s. There's one. Gets the second, it's the bull. Oh my word, that's incredible from Bunting. What a player and what a shot that is. Backing up the maximum with a huge out. And Mansell is shell-shocked.
Game on.
That could be the fatal blow. The 164 checkout. To follow that 180, 344 points completed in 6 starts. When Mickey Mansell was waiting on a little tiddlering comparison, 64.
You do not do that when you're playing badly. You can only do things like that when you're playing at your best. And right now, Bunting is very close to it.
That's what he's got in the locker. His average is up at 99.55 now.
And getting higher.
140.
He's got a losing record against Mickey Mansell. Incredible to think that playing against Mickey since 2014, the year he did turn to the PDC, his first match against Mickey, he lost 6-4. And Mickey's had the measure of him in the last 3 seasons. Mickey's beaten him 3 times. However,
105.
the one meeting they've had this year was won by Stephen on a stage in Jena. And he won 6-4. And at the minute, he's looking good for another one.
Well, he took out a 164 to put himself in this position. Stephen Bunting
83.
has now left himself on
Stephen, you require
170.
170.
A magical finish to the maximum finish. No. I don't think I would have believed it even if it had gone in.
Mickey, you require 138.
Mansell's got to find this or it's curtains. You can't see Bunting missing 65. Not the way he's been trudging through this game and
98.
ultimately flying in the last
Stephen,
few
you
legs.
require 65.
Choices. 25 for tops. The usual MO. There's the green. Double 10. On the wire.
45.
But Mickey Mansell can keep this game going.
Audible as well, wasn't
Mickey,
it?
you require
You could hear that
40.
wire being clipped. Got to make things awkward for Bunting. Try and stop him from getting more darts for the match. Double 5.
Game shot on
The
eighth
tertiary
leg.
double
Mickey
comes to his
Mansell.
aid, and Bunting's got more work to do.
Ninth leg, it's Mickey to throw first. Game
Yeah, that
on.
game they had in Jena, that was just a couple of months ago. Stephen won with an average just shy of 92. Mansell played decent in that game, almost a 95. And that's almost where they always play when they play each other. They're in that 93 to 95 range.
140.
Well, a 2 treble turn to kick off his own leg here. Maybe a mini comeback on the cards for Mickey Mansell. There has been a mini comeback from Roby John Rodriguez on the main stage. He's now trailing by just one leg at 5-4 against Josh Rock. Though Rock is currently on 68 for the match.
This is going to be that portion of the game where Mickey's going to be very, very difficult to get rid of.
And Rock couldn't get rid of that 68. In fact, he scored 66 and has left himself on double 1. We'll keep you informed as Rodriguez looks to force a decider, which is exactly what Mickey Mansell will be hoping to do
100.
in the next couple of legs here.
Think about how many legs we've had. We've had 8. Mansell threw first in number 9. Which means he has the
100.
darts in leg 11 if we need it.
Well, we can now confirm that Josh Rock has managed to pin that double 1 and progress to the second round. A 6-4 success in the end.
57.
But one Northern
Mickey
Irishman.
Mansell, 161.
Well, this Northern Irishman get on with a 161.
All of a sudden, the scoring boots of Bunting have not been laced up.
65.
Sensible from Mickey. Into 2 dart range, and Bunting is needing a maximum just to pressurise.
We saw him do that out of nowhere a couple of legs ago. A maximum followed by a
59.
164.
Mickey required 96.
That was the best of Bunting, but this is a rare off leg for the Bullets. Now, double 9 doesn't really have to go for it.
78.
I think left-handers go for double 9 more often than righties because you think about the eye dominance and the shot itself, it will feel like their double 4. Let's see if he can hit double 9.
180. Mickey
That
required
is
18.
pressure with a capital P. Wired.
Crowd are getting more vocal.
Game shot on the ninth leg.
And I think that was
Mickey
just in
Mansell.
response to the fact that some of Bunting's supporters thought that the game could be up
Game on.
in 9 legs. They were wrong. We're going to at least 10. I wasn't sure that we would go this long after we had that 164 from Stephen.
140.
But if there's one thing we know about Bunting, it's that when things get a bit sticky, he's got heart.
Well, that there was his 25th 3-figure visit in this match.
60.
And he's got time for a couple more as well.
He only wants 2 more. Ideally wanted to get down to the low 200s here.
96.
That'll do. Might even have another chance of finishing the match on a 170.
Yeah, Stephen Bunting will more than likely return to that 19 segment when he toes the hockey again. 1 treble
60.
on that segment leaves him the 170.
But when you look at your opponent's score, you think, do the professional job, get yourself down.
57.
Treble-less there, but even if you leave the 170 in that spot, you don't really want to hit it. You just want to lay up for a double you like and just get the job done. It's not about the fireworks when your opponent is a good 100 or 200 points behind.
Well, this is an understated but brilliant performance from Stephen Bunting. The average close to a ton. We had that spectacular spell where he took out the 164 after a 180.
140.
One of a brace of maximums by Bunting in this match.
He's had 2 140s in this game, which have just been like that. Slightly high, in, and then he's put the 3rd dot in between the 2 darts. Masterful stuff. And what he's got cooking with these new darts, we're going to have to watch out for this because it's really starting to come together.
Stephen, you require 68.
Well, it's becoming a familiar sight watching Stephen Bunting win darts matches on the big stage. Is he going to win another?
Mickey, you require
Well, wouldn't this be something?
158.
He's been hit with the 164. Can he hit back with a 158? Never really gave it a chance with that shot. That's a mighty deflection he's just had of his own flight, and it's gone in the 60. I just wonder if that lucky deflection will change things, or will Bunting just end it now?
888 to do just that. Semi-finalists at the Grand Slam. And off the mark in Minehead, Stephen Bunting playing really, really good stuff in seeing off Mickey Mansell, who gave him a fight. 6-4 in the end to the Bullet, who fires his way through to the 2nd round of the Players' Championship Finals, where he will meet the dynamic young Dutchman in Jan van Veen, having seen off Mickey Mansell. An average just under 98 in the end from the Merseyside man. A very kind of low-key, brilliant performance. That spectacular spell of 6 darts to convert 3-4-4, including a 164. Bullseye finish. And Bunting at his best and could be a real danger in this tournament. Coming next here on stage 2, stay with us for Gabriel Clements against Connor Scott.